Hello everyone, happy holidays to everybody. I got a couple of comments of, are you taking a step back from Snap? And the answer is no, not really. The new cards came out for Pokemon, so I did focus a lot of content there. And then we had a new card in Bruce Banner released, and honestly, he didn't inspire me. He didn't inspire me to brew, to build a deck around, and honestly, I don't think he's very good. And so I didn't want to put together a video just for a card that I wasn't really inspired by and I don't think is going to have very many applications. You can throw him into a high Evo deck. That's going to be about it most of the time. And so he's not really anything like to write home about. He's a very mid card. If you skip him, probably going to be fine. And so I didn't want to do a video on that. So I took a couple of days, spent some time with family, and we were back with a Clutter style of deck. My personal bread and butter favorite, and right now I think is one of the perfect times in the metagame for this Clutter style of deck. Clutter style has a few different types of decks that it doesn't really match into very well. Things that run Killmonger can hurt it quite a bit. And then the decks that run Kitty Pryde or those maneuverable cards, it's really hard to lock those decks down into very specific lanes so that you can position your power for a way to win. Right now, we have a lot of greedy, kind of board space intensive decks in like Doom 2099. Arisham, from what I've seen, a lot of times is running Doom 2099 as well, because for a 4 cost, it gives you a lot of power and a lot of threat around the board, but that comes at the cost of board space, which we can take up the last few spaces that they have, and then their Doom 2099 is very mid and very beatable. And so this deck does phenomenally right now. I'm not going to go too heavy into the deck explanation. Cannonball, at this point, I would feel like is probably irreplaceable. It's not really a good Clutter deck if you don't have the Cannonball. You could leave out Spider Ham and do Shang-Chi instead. If you're seeing a lot of really heavy, high-power cards that you can counter with your Shadow King, that you can counter with your Shang-Chi, Spider Ham can be cut, but I do like Spider Ham as a way to get a feel for what the opponent is running before they necessarily let us in or clue us in on what it is. It gives us a lot of information to go on how we should kind of navigate and maneuver the rest of the game. And then the rest of it is a pretty standard Clutter deck. We're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. We float, and we could keep it from floating here, but I don't know. We'll see. So a full skip into the Sunspot Absorb is decent for him. But as far as Bruce Banner goes, really the only realistic deck that I see him doing well in is a high Evo deck. And even then, it's like, is it a liability? I don't know. Maybe. All right, so 10 energy here. We do get the beautiful Cannonball. So I think we're going to go Red Hulk plus Grapple Arrow. Gonna give us 2 cards here. And then for giggles, we can go Aranya. It's going to pull over to the left. That's going to give us a decent amount of scaling. We have the Cannonball to deal with the Hulk in the right lane as long as we can win the left. Big Killmonger. What in the world? That was generated by the hub. So big generation for him. My goodness, that's craziness. Sheesh, okay. What do we do from there? Get a Doc Ock, but Doc Ock's not amazing. I think we have to do Cannonball and a prayer. This would be 2, 4, 5, so this would win. Just because we can't really use it anywhere else. I guess because we can't really use it anywhere else. I'm going to activate and do the Cannonball. We're going to do Jin, hope for the best. What we're hoping for, I guess if they fill mid, yeah. If they fill mid, we're in trouble. Right? Maybe. Their Red Hulk scales here. Does ours scale? If ours scales, then we're not in trouble. There Oh, I guess it doesn't matter if our scales. We're fine. By them capping out mid, they pushed their allowed their biggest power to be pushed to the left, but it is not enough. And that's gonna be what you run into with high evo. Anyone that's telling you to run it, I don't know if they are. I haven't looked at anybody's videos. If they're telling you to run high evo, that it's killing it, it's probably not. It's just probably not. We're gonna go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Vash. The first location is Krakoa. So if we can ever play something like a demon or Titania or anything relatively large, it would be pretty good for us. We already have our goblin, so we don't have to worry about it being like a positive goblin. The Eternity range, they're going to be running a move deck. We do have our Shadow King, but nothing else to really support it so far. So we're going to go ahead and skip here. Dagger jumps over. That is not a big dagger by any means. I'm assuming they go something like Madam Web mid is what I would imagine they would go. I'm gonna go Debris to the right. We could have went Green Goblin, but I thought they would play there. I really thought they would play there. Turns out the Green Goblin could have capped out that lane. They wouldn't have been able to do anything to pull it up besides a like Falcon, which a lot of the decks these days are not running that. So we could have gotten off pretty... We could have been pretty well off, I think. Green Goblin, Hate Bishop, and then we'll see what generates. I'm angling towards doing Red Hulk into Krakoa on turn number 5, because I think that gives us a lot of benefit here. And so Madam Web coming down in the right lane is big. They can adjust the Green Goblin or their dagger that they throw down. It's going to be a little bit trickier with a somewhat limited space over there to really maneuver all of the cards they want to maneuver. But if we go Red Hulk into... Do we ever do... Titania Acid Arrow? It's going to send 2 cards their way, and we're just hoping that they maybe move one over to the left or play one over to the left. I want to snap into this, but I also want to see how it plays out. We have priority, so if they play one to the left, we're going to do it this direction. Assuming that they play 1 card over into Krakoa to get that bonus onto whatever they draw next. They do play 1 card over there. Beautiful. Red, you like a book, Vash. We have the Acid Arrow flowing your way. We have the Titania, which you are going to summon your way as well. I guess they have the Iranian, so it's not completely capped out. We may have read it like a book, but it's not a closed book. The chapter is not completely over. And then the Iron Fist. Oh, never mind. Read you like a book, Vash. Going to go ahead and switch back to that. That is a very big ham. And I thought Christmas was over, but we still have more ham to deliver. Let's do a Cannonball, a Shadow King, a Spider Ham, Grapple Arrow, call it a day. We win left. We should be able to win the... I think we should be able to win this one. I don't think it's gonna... I don't think there's a chance that we don't win this one, but we're gonna lock it in and see. We do force the retreat. We should have snapped whenever we knew we had like a really good tempo advantage, but I wanted to see it play out and make sure that we had the win instead of forcing the retreat. We'll take the 1. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Love You, and hopefully they'll forgive us for what we're gonna do to somebody that we love. We have the Viper, we have the Debris. We are just looking to completely clutter them up. We took out their Makari, so it didn't jump out of their hand, but I'm thinking that they're probably running a Surfer deck of sorts. They could have a Killmonger in a Surfer deck. But we'll see. Mojo World is good for them. Let's do Viper to the left. We can either do a Doc Ock. We can do a Debris next turn to fill up that left lane. And after the Forge, I really thought we were going to be seeing a Brood, but that does not seem to be the case. All right. I'm going to go Debris, because I think they probably play onto Hope Summers to get up to that extra energy next turn, and then maybe we can lock them out of left, lock them out of right, lock them out of the game, unless they have a Killmonger. If they have Killmonger, there's a small chance that they get back into the game, but it's not... I wouldn't say it's all that great. Then they still have quite a bit of ground to make back up. And so they go big Cassandra Nova. That is a 5-power behemoth over there, my friend. But that is the last one that you get. A Shadow King would be beautiful in this this lane. There's the... Speaking of Shadow King. Beautiful. We always win left. We can go Doc Ock into Shadow King Magic to win the right lane, as long as they don't drop a Killmonger this turn. If they do, then we kind of wish we would have played Magic, but there's the Copycat, which hits Hood, big, and then Red Guardian, that's fine. And so we're going to go last. We get the Kate Bishop plus the Shadow King. We're going to be 8. They're going to be, what, 4, 5, 6? 6 power in the right lane, 5 in the left, and we should be able to bring home the win. And we do force a retreat. This is one of those decks, Clutter in general, that you typically want to snap pretty aggressively, but I also want to see these games play all the way throughout. I don't want to like run people off where maybe we wouldn't have won and it just came down to the retreat. I want to make sure that we see the lines play all the way through. We're going to go ahead and take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Zephyr. Let's go ahead and go Spider-Ham left just to get a feel for what we're dealing with. Scream. So it is an anti-movement deck. I think we're relatively okay into anti-movement stuff. Let's go ahead and go... I'm going to go ahead and go Kate Bishop over into the left lane. I assume that they play here pretty heavily. And then we can like fill it up with Viper, with Green Goblin, with Titania, with a potential Debris. We have a lot of options. Let's go ahead and go Magic into Quantum Realm. We'll turn that one off. See if we can maybe draw Viper or some other way to deal with Stark Tower here. And they play a card into Necrotia, being Craven. But if we can stop them from being able to like really pull much there, it should be okay. They could do like a Polaris to pull one of these over, buff the Craven, move one of our cards out of the Stark Tower lane. But we're going to go Doc Ock, see what we pull here, and start kind of congesting them up here. Ooh, US Agent is actually very effective there. The bad pull for us, good pull for them. With our extra turn... One, they play at least one card here. So we play the Titania. Do we send it their way? We could also do what? Like basic Titania Viper. We're going to send them 2 things. And we have space to recall the Titania. I think that's what we're going to go with instead of the Debris. And so big cannonball. Whoa. Our Kate Bishop is moved. Awfully moving, but that's fine. We have the basic arrow going their way. We have the Titania going their way. We're going to be able to call the Titania back onto our side for relatively cheap with the grapple arrow. So we could go Red Hulk plus grapple arrow. Could be a way that we go. And then the Shadow King... This would be 0, this would be 8, and 1, so 9. This would be 4, 5. So the Shadow King actually gives us exactly what we would want or need. I'm gonna... This would be 9. We would need extra. I'm gonna go Cannonball. And then next turn we can go Shadow King plus whatever else. Ooh, arrow yanks our Viper away, which is unfortunate. They're going to smack their arrow into mid. Not great. This is a pretty big lane. Is it big enough, though, is the problem. They need 12. I think it's probably... They need 13. I think it's probably big enough. And so we could go Viper that pulls Titania our way. Grapple Arrow pushes it back. Shadow King pulls it back once again. So 3, 6, 7, 8 plus the 5. We win left as long as we can win right. Magneto, not going to be enough. As long as my math was not awful. As long as my math wasn't awful, we should be able to steal the left lane. We steal the right lane. We'll steal the 2 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Kali, rank 300. The first location is Jägersil. Whoa, we take out their MODOK. So no major big discard for them. I'm absolutely okay with. The Green Goblin getting hit by Wakanda Embassy is not fantastic for us. It's what it is. Morbius, okay, that is going to be a pretty scary demon vampire guy. Pet Mansion, so we could always Hood plus Viper next turn. I think we go ahead and extend the game, and we'll see. Fenris. Black Bolt? That what kind of counter they're running in a discard style deck? Maybe it's also Silver Samurai? Silver Samurai, what I prefer to call him. Let's go Hood Viper. Start cluttering up the Fenris lane so that they can't revive anything, even if they somehow, counter something big of ours. Or make us discard something big. Whoa, they play Proxima. Sorry, I always get slammed for my pronunciation of it. They play Proxima into mid. Don't discard it. Wild. Let's go Green Goblin right. Take Bishop mid. Then we'll see what we see. So the single card over into Limbo. What do you go with? Whoa, a big pig. Okay, Shadow King. Completely wrecks that though, my friend. Go Red Hulk. With Fenris. Do they have a Shang-Chi? That would be so strange. I guess we already win this lane, so we don't even have to worry about it. So in that case, they could overpower it with a Jägersil, right? With a buff, because they would get a higher buff than we got. They lose the Blade. And then, ooh, Gambit. They lose Swarm. Okay. They hit us in mid. Hit us in our heart. Red Hulk is pretty big. What if it's just Cannonball, Demon to the right, or this goes up to, what, 13 max? We go up to 12, so we do this. We get extra in the left lane, just in case they have like a Shang-Chi or something. I don't think they're going to be able to outpower us, but I also am not 100% familiar with a discard deck that runs Fenris. Yeah. Victory. We'll go ahead and take the one. Go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have good old Henry Hudson. The first location is Castle Blackstone. Let's throw our Spider Ham. Hope that they don't have a turn 1 play. If they don't, then we get the extra energy. We do Debris, but they do. Bruce Banner is now a 2-cost, 1-power, indefinite card, which we love to see. They do get the win over there with Wasp, of all things. Unfortunate. We will be able to rotate our Debris. I think we're going to go ahead and rotate the Shadow King. Yeah. Never a doubt we draw back into it. And I'm going to go ahead and snap into it because a high Evo deck, already relatively on the weak side. Bruce Banner, for one, doesn't improve it. But for two, their Bruce Banner is gone. So now they lose the chance at it. I was a little bit afraid of flipping into Cannonball there, but It's all right. It is what it is. We could go ahead and magic. We believe in magic. We can magic rip away the quantum tunnel so that they can't go digging in their deck. We could also debris, flip into something else. We start cluttering this pretty heavily. With it being a high evo, Thunderbolt's Tower, I'm sure they have a loot cage. So I'm going to go ahead and change mid. I don't want to rock that we're going to have -2 on and they're going to be a 0. Then it's going to hurt us more than it hurts them. And I don't want to give them any kind of advantage. They go basic high evo into limbo. It's not a good need or direction that you need to play, my friend. Do we do anything here? Like a hood debris? But then we're back to the same thing. Thunderbolt's Tower is hurting us more than it's hurting the opponent. Fine. So Cyclops popping over into the left. We have the debris that's going to fill up that location. You'll love to see it. So now, as long as we can beat that power, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, max of 14, then we're good to go. Do they play in Thunderbolt's Tower? Do they play one card in Limbo? I'm going to go and operate under the assumption that they're going to go ahead and play into Limbo. We're going to shoot our rock over there. That is unfortunately going to make this one a pretty surefire loss, but the big Hulk into, we have the rock. They're capped out here. If we can make sure that that last turn we use all of our energy, then we can get this. I guess this one's off of theirs, right? And so we could get it down to, what, 14? Goes to 20. It's not a guaranteed win anymore. Go to 22. If we had our Doc Ock, we would go to 22 in mid. I'm going to Red Hulk left and think. They also go Red Hulk. So their Red Hulk is based off of ours. There is a version of this that runs Shang-Chi, and that would be really good here. We could run them off. Otherwise, we're looking at running them off anyways. I was thinking we were looking at Shadow King, Demon. We had 7 energy, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Shadow King, Demon, Green Goblin, Titania left. We're going to go ahead and take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Rathu. The first location is the Savage Land. The savage things that we will be doing with that land. I almost want to snap just because we have a decent, and Savage Land helps us out. With them running Hawkeye, they could be running like an old-fashioned or old-style bounce deck, which if they're going to play here, they're going to have to send more cards into their hand, which I'm okay with. No Martyr. So it's just like a Flood or a Zoo style deck. Well, they're going to get the good value out of Martyr for sure. Do we go Magic here? Go ahead and go Debris. I don't think they're going to play in either of these two lanes, so I almost want to go Magic for now. Next turn, maybe we get a Titania Viper that we can go ahead and send. Or we have the Debris to lean into. So they go Cable. Oof. No telling what they pulled from us. We have the Doc Ock we could lean into. But instead, I think we're going to snap into the Debris. Odds are they still play in Atlantis. But if they play anywhere else, we're going to build them up. Next turn, we can always hit them with a Viper so that we can clear up one of our spaces congest theirs. They do play our Spider Ham into limbo. That is fine. It hits our Doc Ock, but it is what it is. Marvel Boy is big for him, especially here. What if we did Kate Bishop Viper? I'm a bit afraid of them playing a card and capping out this Savage Land. And so I almost want to just lean a little bit to the right instead. Whoa, no, they weren't going to play for Savage Land at all. The Savages. The pure savagery. That is Rathu. We send him the debris. Marvel Boy just continues doing his marvelous things. And we lean into a Red Hulk. If we do Cannonball, this goes up by 8. They go down by 4. We can do Shadow King, a plus Cannonball. Call it good. Hazard, they can't play on this last turn. So it is a relatively solved game. Right now, Shadow King brings this down by 3. Brings this down by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Brings it down by 8, down to what, 15? We go up to 16. We would need for them to not hit in this their Marvel Boy in mid. That's what I think it comes down to. Take out 4. I think there's a good chance we lose this one. Need them not to hit into mid. We know that we scale by 3. Oh my goodness. It hit just perfectly. That is where we're going to go ahead and end the video. I don't think it gets any better than that. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.